And welcome back to the WJCU Sports Halftime Show. My name is Nikolena Samac, and I am joined here with junior offensive lineman Troy Mrukowski. Troy, how are you feeling today?
I'm excited. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're super excited to have you on this interview, and we are just a few short moments away from kicking off in the third round of the NCAA playoffs against our previous OAC rival, Mount Union. But first, we're going to do a quick interview and learn about your experience on and off the field. So I think we get it rolling. So obviously the team had a really great season, going undefeated in the North Coast Athletic Conference and advancing to the playoffs for the second year in a row. What was this season like for you, and how exciting was it to be so successful?
This season's been super exciting. Coming back, we didn't really know what to expect, especially joining a new conference, playing all new teams that we haven't played. It was exciting. You know, in the O-line room specifically, we lost 10 seniors, didn't really know what to do, and we've kind of bonded, playing two freshmen. We've bonded super close. Offense and defense have both bonded and playing our best ball right now. It's been super exciting. Just the brotherhood that we've created has been awesome this year.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, we faced all new competitors this season. Were there any noticeable differences in gameplay or the way that the offensive line was preparing for matchups this season?
Definitely. When you play the same team every year, you kind of have film from years past to rely on. And this year, you kind of had a blank slate going into each week. So you kind of watch tape a little closer and really pick up tendencies and things because you've never seen them before. And really, some of the times you didn't know what you were getting into until the first drive of the game. You get in the first drive and kind of feel it out and then start rolling from there. So definitely a big difference.
Yeah, I know a lot of players that we interviewed, later in the season, especially just the difference between Dennison and Randolph-Macon, who basically only threw, and then a team who didn't throw the ball at all. So there's definitely a lot of differences and new territory to explore there. So we know you were named as one of the captains for 2025 as a junior, which is something that doesn't always happen. Congratulations. And, what did that mean to you personally to be voted in by the team?
For me, it was a really big honor. Being a captain in high school, I was picked by coaches, and this is the first time I've ever been voted by players. And I really think it's thanks to a work ethic, but it's also just the bonds that we've built. I had some great leaders in the O-line room with Matt Rather and Nate Kovach, Luke Gibbons, Mike Bartusiak, all these older guys that I looked up to a lot my freshman year here, and they kind of paved the way for me. And things fell where they were, and obviously being named captain's awesome, but just getting to go to work with these guys is what I really enjoy. Those dudes definitely paved the way for me to be who I am and where I am now.
Of course, and how have you embraced the leadership responsibilities that come along with being a captain on and off the field, either stuff that you do on your own or stuff that you've taken from previous captains in the past?
I really think it's about bringing people together. Like I said, from people in the past, what I took is I never felt like a freshman. I always felt like one of the guys, and I've really tried to implement that with our group of guys, especially this year. We had one senior offense lineman, a few juniors, and then about 20 freshmen. So it's really just been how do we implement everybody into everything. It's not about what class you are, what age you are. It's about just being together. If you're part of this team and you go through what we go through, like we're brothers for that.
And, like we mentioned a couple of times, the majority of the current offensive line, and even the two deep in itself, is underclassmen, most of them being first years. How have you and the other upperclassmen helped to push them and guide them in their roles?
It's really similar to what I just said. Like, we had guys before us that showed us the way. And first it starts by leading on how we do things. Like, if I don't do things and act the right way, why would they? We have so much influence in that. And it's just doing the little things every day and then just making sure they know things, like watching tape with them or being like, hey, load your foot this way, or just little things like that they haven't seen yet, but they're really starting to develop. And it's honestly been awesome to see from week 1 to now how much they've grown.
I think it's a really good year for that as well, because you guys are also having to relearn certain things, learn, these new teams, new experiences, and then being able to take them along with you is probably really helpful in that, journey.
Definitely.
So what do the offensive line and offensive players, such as the quarterbacks or running backs, do to form a bond and kind of build that trust that you guys need to be successful?
Obviously, we go through hard things together. Spring is tough in the cold every day, doing things, and I think that's where it starts, is just the work that we put in together. We know that if we're here, like, we're all working and we're all doing the same thing. And then other than that, I think it's really things like sharing meals together and just hanging out. Like, that's what I'm gonna miss, is the meals with the guys and just being together. That's where relationships are made and you really get to know about one another.
Yeah, I mean, in almost every single interview and talk we've had with admin or coaches or anything, everyone always says, like, this year's team is so much different. Like, everyone is real. It's a brotherhood. Everyone loves each other. They enjoy those moments off the field. And I think that's really helped with the success on the field this year, is the work off the field.
Yeah.
And, you know, we know the offensive line plays such a key role in the success of each drive. How do you mentally and physically prepare for big games, especially now when it's really high expectations and high pressure?
We talk about this a lot, especially in the line room, probably more than anywhere. It's just detailed fundamentals. We do the same things over and over and over again, and it's not just so that you can get it right. We say you do it so many times that you can't get it wrong. That's what we would say. It's just over and over. And obviously, there's going to be emotions and energy. That's just natural, but it's really just calming yourself down and just thinking clearly. If you think clearly and use your fundamentals, you're going to be all right. I've been lucky enough to have some mentors earlier on that helped me through that. My first game ever was against a great program as a freshman, and I had guys that had my back. It's really just making sure everybody's on the same page, especially as offense linemen. You got to have 5 eyes working through one set. And if you have that and you have fundamentals, you'll be all right.
So given the success of this season, do you have any goals that you're setting for yourself into playoffs? And you don't have to look too far ahead, but even going into your senior year?
Honestly, I'm just taking it day by day. It's really it really just comes down to, how do I do today the best I can? That's what we've talked about with this team since the beginning, is we aren't anybody else. The 2025 Blue Streaks are the 2025 Blue Streaks. They're right now. They weren't before and they'll never be after. It's really just about, how do we be the best us? We've kind of figured that out through the year. It took some time, but I haven't thought about anything other than this week and this day past this yet.
Absolutely. So you are in your 3rd year at John Carroll. What advice would you give to a freshman that's coming into this team?
I would say that we love each other and we like to have fun, but it's also a lot of hard work. One of the things that we said is hard work is the cost of admission. If you want to play here, you got to work hard, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. I automatically have over 100 people that are like my new best friends as soon as I walk on campus. It's so much fun. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Yeah, and that's so, like, amazing to hear. And I think, again, like, the fans and everyone really sees the team this year and the brotherhood that's really been formed. So we have one final football question before we jump into a couple of fun questions so the viewers or listeners can kind of get to know your personality. So you are listed as an education major in your football bio. Does that still stand to the set?
My major has changed. My freshman year, I came in as an education and history major because I wanted to coach football in high school, and who knows where I'll go. But right now, I'm a sports leadership major with a minor in exercise science. I'm planning on being a GA and getting a master's, whether it's in education or exercise science. But I love the age of young men, particularly, whether that's coaching or teaching, whatever way I can impact them is because of the impact people have had on me. That's where I find passion.
So how would you say that your leadership role and experience on the teams kind of helped you prepare for that post-college career, whatever it ends up being?
Yeah, I mean, I think I owe a lot of it to my parents, just the way that my parents raised me. I've always kind of had more of a leadership type of personality almost. But if I can do this, I can do anything is kind of my mentality at it. If I can go through what we go through and do all this, I'll be just fine when I get to the real world.
Yeah, I think that's a really great mentality. And, you know, I'm sure the leadership qualities that you've presented in this year, I think they bode to probably a very successful future in whatever you end up doing. But we are going to jump to a couple of fun questions. So the first one is, outside of football, what sport do you think or wish that you could go pro in?
I mean, I would probably pick golf because golf is super cool. I'm terrible at golf, but if I could go pro in something, it'd probably be golf because hitting a good golf shot is so fun.
Yeah, and I think all those like tournaments, they're like, oh, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida.
Perfect.
We could use a little of that weather up here.
Yeah, definitely.
At any level of football, which team would you say has your favorite jerseys?
I'm an Eagles fan, so I got to go with the Eagles Kelly green jerseys. I think those are pretty sweet. Also, being from Columbus, an Ohio State fan, the blackout jerseys are pretty sweet. Those are probably my top two.
Yeah, those are really cool jerseys. The Eagles green is a really nice shade
Yeah.
of green. It's very awesome.
Sweet.
And then final fun question, who on the team has your favorite celebration and can you describe it?
Favorite celebration? I got to shout out Kenny Rawls because me and Kenny have a handshake. That's pretty cool. But my favorite one is probably Owen Ellison and Nico McBride did a celebration in the end zone where they both bend and grab each other's ankles. And then we showed it on the big screen at a meeting. That's probably my favorite celebration I see this year.
That is so funny. We haven't seen that one from the press box, but I'm sure there's a video out
Yeah,
somewhere.
we got a
of
picture
that.
of it. We got a picture of it somewhere.
That is so funny. Well, Troy, thank you very much for coming in for this interview today. That does wrap up our final question, and we wish you the best of luck as we get ready to kick off against Mount Union.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And listeners, do stay tuned because after our final segment of the pregame show, myself and Owen Close will be on the call for John Carroll kicking off against Mount Union. So stay tuned for that on your radio home for Blue Streak Athletics, WJCU 88.7.